This is Renee Collins,
Whitney Acke,
and Rachel Crowe.
And welcome to Overtones. Welcome, everyone. You are listening to the 47th broadcast of Overtones on WLXU 93.9 FM, Lexington Community Radio. We are coming to you from the beautiful and historic Lyric Theater in the great city of Lexington, Kentucky. I am Renee Collins, your host, and I'm joined as I am each and every week by Lexington musician and songwriting extraordinaire Whitney Acke. Let's all welcome Whitney to the show.
Thank you so much. And in addition, we have the expertise of our singer-songwriting celebrity guest host with us today. Let's welcome the amazing Rachel Crowe.
Rachel and Whitney, let's start off the show today with a discussion about the incredible event that found all of us in Harlan, Kentucky last Tuesday night. And Whitney, first talk to our audience about that Listen Locally event.
It was a great event. It was the first time I had ever been to Harlan in my entire life.
Me too.
Born and raised in Kentucky. I don't know why I haven't gotten out over there, but Tyler Smith hosted it with the help of Greg and Natalie. And I just thought it was an incredible turnout, a great location. It was a great night.
So Rachel, from your perspective, you were on stage, and describe to our audience what went down in Harlan last week.
It was amazing. There was a great turnout. That was the first singer-songwriters round that Harlan had done with Listen Locally, and Tyler was gracious enough to ask me to perform. I was on stage with Whitney and Ray, which they just had a new album come out, and you debuted a new song.
We did,
which was awesome.
Terrifying.
It was good.
It was really good.
It was so not
Whitney.
Not Whitney.
Yes, I agree.
It was just not Whitney. That's what we should call it.
Yeah, this is not Whitney.
Rachel did amazing too. Listen, we were with Jason Sinkhorn in that round, right?
Yeah.
Which is like intimidating enough.
Yeah, I'm a fangirl, big time, for Jason because we were been friends on Instagram forever, and we had actually talked about that, and that's exactly what's happened with a lot of these folks that are in here today, is that we are so big. We're such big fans of all these people that write and play in these Listen Locally singer-songwriter rounds that we stalk them to death on Instagram and stuff. And I was like, hey, dude, let's be friends in real life.
Yeah, that's the fun part of being alive right now, isn't it?
And so, but I mean, where we all work so much, it's really hard for us to kind of catch everybody's gigs. So it's like, if I'm not playing, I'm trying to find somebody to go and see to check them out, because I mean, even though the likes and the hearts on the Instagram and the Facebook mean a lot, it's going to the show that makes the big difference.
Yeah, so agree. Whitney and Rachel, a great article on songwriting came across my news feed last night, I believe from Didit Music, and it had some really great quotes about 10 tips to write songs. So we're going to start a new feature here today for the next 10 episodes of Overtones as I read a songwriting quote. And tip number 1, and then I would like to get the two of you all, as the amazing songwriters that you are, to weigh in on the quote. Okay, and the quote this week is from John Legend, who said this: "I have a structured songwriting process. I sat with music and tried to come up with all kinds of musical ideas, and then the melody, then the hook, and then the lyrics come last. Some people start with the lyrics first because they know what they want to talk about, and they write a whole bunch of other lyrical ideas. But for me, the music tells me what to write about. So tip number 1 addresses where to start when you're writing the song. What are each of your approaches? Music first, lyrics last? And we'll start with you, Whitney.
Well, for me, it's always lyrics first. That being said, like they usually come with a melody because I am obsessed with phrasing, so I need to have some type of melody. And so the music comes last, but I really think that's because I'm not a very accomplished musician. Like my strength, if I want to say that I have one at all, is like lyrically and melodically. So I know a lot of people that are better musicians who do that way first. And it makes me wonder, does John Legend like identify as a pianist before a songwriter? I don't know. Just curious there.
And Rachel, what are your thoughts?
I have to agree with Whitney. That's kind of how I write hooks mostly. And I have like scrap pieces of paper everywhere in my house, and my notes on my phone are filled with gibberish. Like if anybody ever broke into my phone, they would be like, what is going on? It's not a grocery list. It's just a bunch of hooks. So I start out with hooks first. And I also have to be in a good mood to do it. So my mood has to be completely right. But I write in beats. I don't write melodically. That's the difference. It's like I write in beats because I write in the structure of the song. Coming from a very traditional blues background and then trying to filter it into, what I do, everything is structured in a beat. So I write words onto beats instead.
Well, see, this is wonderful. And we have 4 other musicians in the studio today that we're going to get their perspective on this as well. But part of Overtones is not only the music and the performance, but what are all the things on top of the music that kind of make a musician and songwriting process great? So this is what we hope to do over the next 10 weeks. So Whitney, Rachel, and I are welcoming guests today who have a broad range of musical artistry and significant contribution to the local music scene here in Lexington and beyond.
So in this special edition of Overtones, tribute to Louisville, Kentucky, we certainly have a great opportunity to do all of that and more with this all-star lineup that showcases not only the talent of these incredible Kentucky artists, but also to give the state of Kentucky opportunities to hear them play, see them perform, and to listen locally.
So without further ado, here is your Kentucky Overtones starting lineup.
They are an American folk band based out of Louisville, Kentucky, created by Katie Didit and Derek LaFountain, combining threads from their individual solo careers with Brad Fowble on trumpet, creates a quirky, lovable vibe, and they are quite literally going to share some of this quirky, lovable vibe with us today on Overtones. Let's welcome Louisville, Kentucky's Quite Literally to the show today.
He is a regular at Listen Locally Louisville open mic and is an instructor at Louisville Folk School. And when asked what he enjoys in life, he says, I do music things, as you can probably guess. And I also play banjo a lot. Let's welcome Louisville, Kentucky's Taylor Shuck to Overtones.
And Whitney and Rachel, we are going to start this off today with a special musical offering from Louisville, Kentucky's Quite Literally.
Before the music starts, let's have the members introduce themselves to our audience.
We'll start with you, Katie.
Hi, my name is Katie Didit, and I play the acoustic guitar and the upright bass in Quite Literally.
My name is Derek LaFountain. I play guitar and upright bass also in Quite Literally.
I'm Brad Fowble. I play trumpet and in the future guitar in Quite Literally.
And Katie, you and Derek are the organizers and the hosts of our Listen Locally open mic in Louisville, Kentucky. And first of all, thank you so much for that. That's awesome. You all have brought, let's give them a round of applause for that. You all have also brought our special guest to us today from that open mic. And also thank you for that. Tell us about what the two of you have observed and learned as a result of this experience.
Doing open mic at Diorio's in Louisville has been fantastic. Whenever we first started doing it, the crowd started out to be like 5 to 7 people the first week. The next week it was like 15. And then just when we had it 2 nights ago, there was literally so many people that not everyone got to sign up. And we kept it going from 8 p.m. until midnight. So it was 4 hours, and we still didn't have enough room for everyone to sign up. So saying that in itself, it's been a great place for all of our local musicians. And we also have a lot of poets that show up to ours, which is really interesting. I love that. We've even had a few comedy acts, but it's been super rewarding, especially because I've worked at Diorio's for so long, and to see that part of my life intertwine with the part of my life that is music come together has been really special for me.
Fantastic.
Katie, tell us a little information about Quite Literally and how it all came about and what we should expect from the band in the future.
Quite literally, it started out, I guess, because me and Derek started dating. And I guess it's just natural when 2 musicians start dating, you're at the house together, and instead of Netflix, you start playing music together.
You know what we should do? Start a band.
Exactly.
That's
Start
what
a
should happen.
band. So that just kind of came naturally, and I've been working really hard with Mama Said String Band, but this has given me an outlet to really focus on my songwriting and less on my instrumentation and being, you know, like Whitney was saying earlier, as far as like how songwriting works out and stuff. But I write a lot of lyrics all the time, and this was a way for that outlet to come out. Do you want to add on it?
Well, I was going to say what you just said last.
Oh, yeah?
You took it.
Okay.
So that would be a Quite Literally ditto, right? But Derek, let me ask you, what are you going to kick off this opening segment of Overtones on WLXU today with?
Well, we're going to start with Why Can't You See, which is a song written by Katie Didit. And it's one that she doesn't do with Mama Said String Band. So we do some that she does with Mama Said, and then she has some that
Or solely for Quite
are
Literally.
solely for her, and Quite Literally, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's the first presentation of Quite Literally the band.
You see what you want to see, parts that highlight your best. So pull the taggart curtain close, be sure to hide the rest. Drown the sadness in glitter, serve to all my heart. 'Cause there's a darkness seeping deep inside your prettiest parts. Why can't you see? These struggles aren't my own. Being human sometimes requires a heart made of stone. Sing me to sleep, little darling. 'Cause waking is harder than it seems. Yes, waking is harder than it seems. I've played many guitars and hearts too, I fear. So I cover up the sadness with cheap cigarettes and beer. Is this who I am, or who I wanted to be? Broken-hearted dreamer, a lover's memory. Why can't you see? These struggles aren't my own. Being human sometimes requires a heart made of stone. Sing me to sleep, little darling. 'Cause waking is harder than it seems. Yes, waking is harder than it seems. Spite Despite my best intentions, my tongue will sell me short. So I stand with bloody hands in the center of God's court. Mistakes don't work if the record's on repeat. But please do not damn me, for these are my own tired feet. Why can't you see? These struggles aren't my own. Being human sometimes requires a heart made of stone. Sing me to sleep, little darling. It's waking is harder than it seems. Yes, waking is harder than it seems.
Thank you so much. We are going to hear more musical offerings from Quite Literally later in the show, but for now, stick around as we will be back with Quite Literally band member Brad Fowble on Overtones, right here on WLXU 93.9 FM Lexington Community Radio.
So it seems the world's burning down, and I had watched myself spin around. Well, I surged high, oh, I surged slow, and I surged wide, and I just can't seem to find a place to call home. And I lost myself in the world that is lies. You have let me down before, and now we're here tonight. Oh, I know it seems it's all burning down. You have let me down this time. Oh, grave digger, dig your grave for me. Send me to the bottom, oh, send me to the deep. For I am one with the earth and the sea. Grave digger, dig your grave for me. Oh, I've been dreaming of a long lost world where I don't have to stay. And I've given up on all that I love, for it just don't return the same to me. Oh, I've given up on all that I love, for it just don't return love to me. Oh, grave digger, dig your grave for me. Send me to the bottom, oh, send me to the deep. For I am one with the earth and the sea. Grave digger, dig your grave for me. digger, dig your grave for me. Send me to the bottom, or send me to the deep. For I am one with the earth and the sea. Grave digger, dig your grave for me. Maybe one day it'll all come around. Maybe then you'll see a life without love is no life at all. We'll be free to chase our dreams.
We are back, and you are listening to Overtones, hosted by Renee Collins and Whitney Acke, and we also have celebrity guest host Rachel Crowe with us today on WLXU 93.9 FM, Lexington Community Radio. And you have just listened to the sounds of Brad Fowble. Let's welcome Brad to the show, everyone.
So, Brad, tell us a little bit about the first song you did.
The title of it, well, I was kind of wrote it out of feeling depressed and stuff, and it's pretty much, instead of doing self-destructive things, I decided to write a song about it. So that's where that came from.
I feel like that's very healthy.
Yeah,
That's a great
I think
outlet.
that's what most musicians do, just because like we can't afford therapists. we barely afford gas and food, so we're just trying to get through.
My guitar costs more than my car.
Yeah.
There you go.
As it should.
I don't even know what to say after that. What about us that have to write and go to therapy? Are we just really screwed up? I don't know. and then Renee looks at me and says, "Yeah." I love it.
I said no.
I know
just
she's
feel like
looking at
she's
me.
fortunate that she can afford it. And,
Oh,
I'm
listen, no, not anymore. Not since the divorce. Anyhow,
Another
Bye-bye.
episode. We're going to have, all three of us could actually do a divorce show, right?
Yeah.
we
I
could.
want to be here for that.
Okay. Katie will be our guest host.
We could do
We will have
that.
to have wine. I'll take bourbon. Thank you.
We might need to do that one at our house.
Yeah, somewhere more
And
secretive.
safer. We need a safe place, please.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! So, Brad, talk to us a little bit about. You are the host of one of our open mics. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Right. Tell us a little bit about where that is and what's going on with that.
So we have a couple. We have a couple different ones other than listen locally on Sundays. Twisted Cork, I usually go there and play and whatnot. But we also have 3 others during the week. Both of them are at Line, or two of the 3 are at Linus, and one of them is at Patch and Pub, and those are actually Micadelic open mics. But we're kind of, whenever I host the one at Linus, I'm going to try and start doing that with Listen Locally as well, and kind of attach the name to it and whatnot. So,
Wow, that's fantastic. And like I said, he is just the king of open mic hosting. I just really appreciate everything you do here.
Absolutely. I mean, it gives other musicians opportunities to meet each other and be on stage and kind of try out new stuff, even if they play.
We like to do the jam thing on Wednesdays too. So we go late into the night, and there's a lot of people on stage playing a lot of different things, but it's really cool.
Very cool. So, Brad, in regards to our first songwriting question, music first, lyrics last, or lyrics first, music last, tell us what your take is on that.
Well, coming from a punk rock background, I lived in Seattle for a while. So that definitely lyrics first for me. I get a hook stuck in my head, kind of like Rachel, but get a melody stuck in my head. I can't get it out, like a little earworm digging in your brain and stuff, and then eventually just let it out and say what you want to behind it. So it's kind of how I go about it.
So you've been in plenty of bands.
Yep.
I think we took a tally, and how many are you in?
Four
right now?
right
You're in
now.
4 bands right now.
Yep.
And talk to us about some of your musical history, like some of the things that you've been involved in, what you're involved in now.
All right. So in the past, I have played with a punk band, started off playing music just by myself and everything. And when I was in the Navy, that was kind of like a coping mechanism for just being on the boat all the time and being out to sea and lonely and, and then eventually got out 2016 and started playing with a punk band in Seattle called Neutral Boy. They are still together. I'm not with them obviously anymore because I don't have time for that. Still love them and support them and everything. They play at Punk Rock Bowling coming up, so if you're in Vegas or Las Vegas or whatever, go see them. But other than that, when I came back, I kind of funded my own way back here by playing at breweries. So I ended up back in Kentucky by funding my way through playing in brewery shows, which I guess worked out, but it wasn't here. So
We're glad it worked out.
Yeah.
when I got back here, I started playing with Travis Daly and Trash Bandits. Eric Smith, he joined us with the tub bass, so that was entertaining. Cool. That was a pretty cool project. It still goes, but Travis is up in Ohio now, so it's kind of few and far between. But and then I still do my solo thing, and I just started a new string band here in Lexington with Riley Logan and Austin McDonald. And a couple other people. We haven't quite finalized it yet, but that's going to be called Soggy Bacon String Band. And got real drunk one night and said, we should call a band Soggy Bacon String Band.
I remember when that was going on Facebook. There was a lot of voting going on what it should be, right?
Yeah, right. And then latest thing is Quite Literally.
I think all musicians are a little like that.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
just kind of like we throw it in the hat, see what sticks.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just
It's like throwing darts. You never know what you're going to hit until you hit it.
So we're going to hear you at the end of the show with Quite Literally. But what do you have for us next for your solo act?
The next one is called Dive Bar. I actually wrote it for Green Lantern here in Lexington. But I just wrote that song for that bar. So.
Well, let's give it up for Brad Fowble singing his original song, Dive Bar.
I've been everywhere, north, south, east, and west, and I don't think I care much for that life anymore. Well, I'm kept inside, and I know my whole life, and I hope that you're coming back for more. Keep that green light lit up for me, and that old open sign. Keep the back porch always opened up for comedy. When everything you know makes you feel so far from home, you'll always have a spot right there next to me in that old dive bar, in that old dive bar. Sometimes I wonder if I'm fine. Oh, what it is to feel alive. Don't tell me that I can't and I won't, 'cause I will and I don't give a damn. Keep that green light lit up for me and that old open sign. Keep the back porch always opened up for comedy. When everything you know makes you feel so far from home, you always have a spot right there next to me in that old dive bar, in that old dive bar. Keep that green light lit up for me and that old open sign. Keep the back porch always opened up for comedy. When everything you know makes you feel so far from home, you'll always have a spot right there next to me in that old dive bar, in that old dive bar, in that old dive bar.
Brad, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you guys.
Stick around as we will be back to hear the music of Louisville, Kentucky's Listen Locally open mic star, Taylor Shuck, coming up next on WLXU 93.9 FM, Lexington Community Radio.
Hush, little baby, now please don't cry. Daddy gotta go away for a while. I don't wanna leave you, wish you could know it. You won't remember, you won't be sad. Barely born, there's years to be had. And I'm not around, we'll be strangers every moment. So go ahead and hate me if you're able. I'll accept it, I wasn't stable. And if I'm lucky, when you're older, you'll forgive me and I'll be sober. Well, I guess I call the bar home, stumble back drunk to an empty room. Don't wait until another addiction notice. And I wish I could still see you, but that'd mean having to get off booze. And that takes time when you have my diagnosis. So go ahead and hate me if you're able. I'll accept it, I wasn't stable. And if I'm lucky, when you're older, you'll forgive me and I'll be sober. Time gone, people always try to hang on. They want me to fall back in my old life. But I got a daughter I'd never seen. I hope one day she'll try to find me. Guess I gotta stay clean. So go ahead and hate me if you're able. I'll accept it, I wasn't stable. And if I'm lucky, when you're older, you'll forgive me and I'll be sober. I wish your mama would try to hang on, but I'm an angry drunk and I own a gun. If she stayed, she'd end up in the ground. And now she's gone, the bottle's empty, and my friends and family have all turned against me. You'd be better off if I'm not around. So go ahead and hate me if you're able. I'll accept it, I wasn't stable. And if I'm lucky, when you're older, you'll forgive me and I'll be sober. You'll forgive me and I'll be sober.
We are back, and you are listening to WLXU 93.9 FM. Renee Collins and Rachel Crowe are by my side, and we are celebrating the music of Louisville, Kentucky. And we are so pleased to welcome first-timer Taylor Shuck to Overtones. Let's give him a big hand. So, Taylor, tell us a little bit about that first song we just heard.
Yeah, that song was called Wish I Was Sober. It's just, I don't really know why I wrote it. None of the experiences in that song reflect me. I don't have an 18-year-old daughter, and I'm not an alcoholic father. So,
Sorry,
just a great storyteller.
It's just storytelling, right? Music's ultimately a language, and it's a way to tell a story sometimes. So that's kind of where it came from.
I envy people like you. I told this to the young girl at the Harlan singer-songwriter round. She's 22, and she's talking about like these really heavy experiences, and I'm like, I wish I didn't have to go through mine. I wish I could just like pull
Oh, there's always plenty of heavy experiences. I just use those in other ways.
Yeah, no, I have to live it. I'm so hard-headed. Sorry. I mean, I envy you. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So Taylor, you're a singer-songwriter who takes the stage at the Listen Locally Open Mic Louisville. And first of all, thank you for that. But talk to us about the venue, the experience you've had, and the artists you've been able to meet.
Yeah, so actually it's kind of fun doing it in Louisville. For me, a lot of times it's more like a reunion of friends because I've known Katie Didit for 3 years or so now and fill in for Mama Said when they have members accidentally chop off fingers or something. And
It's been known to happen.
Is that a frequent thing,
once or
Katie?
twice, only a couple times. So I've known them. I was in a band with David and Steph and all of them. So I was excited to be able to help out with that open mic, especially when it was getting started, because I know how hard it is to start something like that. I had started a bluegrass jam in Louisville at the Whirlaway Tavern, which is no longer open, and it took quite a while to gain traction. So it was great to be able to help and be a part of that.
That is fantastic. And that is at Diorio's Pizza and Pub.
Yes, at Diorio's. It's a wonderful venue.
So Taylor, for you, is it music first, lyrics last?
I've been trying to do more lyrics first because I'm a utility musician first and foremost. I get hired by all sorts of people to play whatever instrument they need, be it banjo or guitar or mandolin or bass or keyboard. And doing that, it was always music first growing up, and it's always been very much, you know, I'm a musician first and foremost, an instrumentalist. But recently I've been trying to come back into my own as a songwriter. I hadn't written songs since high school, so for about 5 or 6 years I didn't write anything. And it's been kind of a personal challenge to do lyrics first when I can.
I just got I call it a
Utility musician?
Yeah, I call it something else. It's
Gun
not,
for
it's
hire?
Not, no, it's
What do you
not.
call
It's
it?
not nice.
Hired gun.
I want to know, though, just off the air.
I do too.
Music whore.
What do you
It's a
call it?
music whore.
A music whore.
A music whore. I use protection.
You tune and everything, don't you?
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, man.
Look, I only got.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm not going
just
to count
leave
how
to
many
me, I'll
D strings
do
on
it.
my
I'll
instruments.
just take us down the wrong path.
Is this the real reason? Is this an intervention?
No, honey, we all do it.
They didn't tell you?
It's just us making us feel better about ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Taylor, so you're an instructor at the Louisville Folk School, and last week we had another instructor from the Louisville Folk School, Andy Brown, and he helped us celebrate the music of Moorhead, Kentucky. What can you tell us about the school and the nature of the work that you do there?
So I'm the banjo and guitar instructor. First off, I love Andy Brown. Me and him hang out all the time. I actually was drinking wine with him just the other night. And no, it's just a really good chance for me to be able to bring what I've learned throughout Kentucky. My grandparents were the people who helped make the mountain dulcimer the state instrument in Kentucky. So I've kind of been in this folks scene for a little bit, and it's been exciting for me to be able to kind of revitalize the community in Louisville, Kentucky, because after the jam session that happened at Bluegrass Brewing Company every Wednesday died out, the scene kind of started going dormant, I guess would be a good way to describe it. But with Dave Howard starting this Louisville Folk School thing, he was in 23 String Band and Relic. It's really revitalized that community a lot, and it's been a joy for me to be able to see people who maybe used to play back in the day when they had that jam going on, or who had seen people play during that period, want to learn these instruments. And I do beginner classes and advanced classes, and I did a J.D. Crowe repertoire class recently as well.
And we're glad to have you with us today. And thank you so much for being on Lexington Community Radio. What do you have next for us on Overtones?
Oh, my next song is called Out of the Door.
Okay, so it's your banjo song. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it once again for Taylor Shuck.
Holiday times are hard times when you left all alone. She fell in love with another man and left me on my own. But it's okay, I will get back. I've been here before. Just gotta pick myself up off the ground and take that first step out of the door. Take that first step out of the door. Please don't ask me what went wrong when silence was all I could get. Is there any point in trying to find our song? Is there anything left to fix? But it's okay, I will get back. I've been here before. Just gotta pick myself up off the ground and take that first step out of the door. Just take that first step out of the door. Try to take it back. It's done, it's painted black. No sense in wondering where love's at. It went south and it ain't coming back. But it's okay, I will get back. I've been here before. Just gotta pick myself up off the ground and take that first step out of the door. Take that first step out of the door. Just take that first step out of the door.
Thank you, Taylor. Next up, we are quite literally going to have quite literally on Overtones. And Brad is pulling double duty today as he now puts on another musical hat to rejoin the amazing Katie Didit and Derek LaFountain coming up next on WLXU 93.9 FM, Lexington Community Radio.
Why do you stay up all night? I've got to get some sleep. I'd rather hold you tight till the next time we meet. Why do you stay up all night? Yeah, you've got to get some sleep. You ain't gotta worry about all the secrets that you keep. No, not with me. scared of you, even though you're only 5'2". But oh, how you could hurt me, worse than Muhammad Ali. Oh, can't you see? But I'm standing in the rain, 'cause I wanna feel every swing. Oh, I'll keep bouncing off the ropes, right back to you. Yes, it's true. Why do you keep me up at night? I've got to get some sleep. I'd rather hold you tight until the next time we meet. Can't you see? Why do you stay up all night? Girl, you've got to get some sleep. You ain't gotta worry about all the secrets that you keep. No, not with me.
Welcome back to Overtones on Lexington Community Radio, and it has quite literally been one for the musical history books today. We've just heard the music made by Katie Didit, Derek LaFountain, and Brad Fowble. That's right, all incredible artists in their own right, but made even better by complementary collaboration as they formed the band quite literally. Let's welcome them back to Overtones, everyone.
Katie, you and Derek, we mentioned earlier, host the Listen Locally open mic night in Louisville, Kentucky. But what I want you to do is tell us about some of the other artists who are kind of making an impression there coming to this open mic.
So I definitely have a round of regulars that make it every Wednesday, no matter the weather, no matter if they're feeling under the weather, they always seem to make it out. Mark Piles is one of those people. Gene Hibben is another. We also have a very fantastic poet that I would like to mention has came to every single open mic I have had since I started doing it. His name is Matthew Presley. You can find his poetry online. He's a published author. Other than that, we have a lot of fun acts come out. Derek's band, actually, the Toonsmiths, came out. They play rock and roll music, but they did an acoustic set with Daniel singing and Bryce on guitar. We really have a lot of talented people come through there.
That's so fantastic. All of you are so supportive of each other and of musicians across the state, and for Derek, even across the river, right, into Indiana.
So I hear that Derek and Katie got this thing going on, and
This thing.
And Renee calls them our musical royal couple. So, and that's great because y'all from Louisville, and Renee don't play like that. So, she must really, really like you.
Music transcends the Lexington Louisville rivalry.
Yeah, it transcends basketball and football and stuff.
Hey, I still bleed blue. I might live across the river, but I still bleed blue.
So we've actually had a few couples on the show, and I've asked this several times because, like, I don't really get along with anybody that, like, I date and would play music with. So how do you all make it work? Like, you all are in a band together, but you're also in separate bands. So, like, the time that you spend together and having a creative thing going, and then being apart, because, like, even being with, like, pedestrians is what I like to call them, people that don't do music, it's hard for them to understand that when you're on the road or you're at a show and a gig, that it's like, it's work, man. It's not.
It has to be separate.
It has to be separate. And then, like, if you are on the road and you're both musicians, and I got a rule, I don't date musicians because I keep too many secrets for them. But, like, I mean, maybe y'all working things out. I don't know. But like, I got that rule because like I've been in band since I was 16, and so when you're away from them, I mean, you got to talk about like trust on that. So talk to me about like your personal dynamic with that.
Tell me your secret.
Tell me all your secrets.
Well, Katie and I, we met a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually coming up on the year anniversary of our meeting, but I was a fan of Katie. I used to be a radio DJ at 100.9 in Louisville, and when she was with Moonshine District and they were going to play Floyd Fest, I had actually reached out to her to come be a guest on the show, which it didn't work out. She's so busy doing awesome things. So then I was playing in another band in Louisville, a bluegrass band, and we were playing a lot of the same shows and festivals, and that's how I met her, because she was playing with Mama Said String Band, and I've been a fan of Mama Said String Band. She's actually the last one in the band that I got to know pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Save the best for last.
Yeah, right. She's the first musician I've ever been with, dated. So it's new to me, but I think it just adds a whole new understanding. I've never really been with anyone who's understood that side of my life before. Which is kind of a nice, I don't know. I don't have someone mad at me just for playing a show and expecting the worst because she's been there and she knows that we're just a bunch of nerds anyways. So it's not like Jane's Addiction in the 90s. You know? We're just talking about guitars and amps and, you know, nerdy stuff and trying to learn theory. But it is hard. It's something that can bring you together, but it's also another obstacle. She was gone for 3 weeks, pretty much, give or take, this month, and so it's hard being away from her. But
FaceTime helps.
FaceTime definitely does help.
Yeah.
You know? And you know, I think it's easier for her because I understand what she's doing too, and I'm not just, you know.
And we believe in
wondering.
each other, and I think that we want that part of our life to be just as rewarding as our partnership, and we understand that, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah, it's really cute because, like, you all, even before the interview, like the first part of the interview, you're like, I just support her, and I'm like this, and, and I'm like, what is this, like, Disney movie? Get out of here. Stop.
That's so amazing. So tell us, music first, lyrics last, lyrics first, music last, go.
For me, it's definitely lyrics first. It's always been lyrics first. And I think with the same thing that Whitney was saying earlier, whenever I learned music because I like to write, and I like to sing, and I like to tell a story. So all the other stuff kind of came later, but the most important thing for me has always been lyrics. So those always come first, but the same thing as what Rachel was saying, when I get to the chorus part or the hook part, I already hear the melody in my head, so I fit that phrasing inside of that. And so I'll focus on that one part, and then I'll come up with a more simple structure for the verses, you know, like a 1-4-5 to get around that until you get to a bridge, turn around for a hook. And then so the music comes much later after that. But if you're writing that hook, you can have that melody inside your head to fit the phrasing, if that makes sense. And then I try to surround myself with very talented, advanced musicians that hopefully can help me fill in the in-betweens.
Such a smart idea. Why didn't I think of that?
So what is the name of the next song you guys are going to sing for us?
The third one is a song written by John Prine, and it came out in his earlier years. It's called Blue Umbrella.
And here is quite literally One More Time on Overtones.
Feelings are strange, especially when they come true. And I had a feeling that you'd be leaving soon. I tried to rearrange all my emotions. It seems the same no matter what I do. A blue umbrella rests upon the shoulder. Hide the pain while the rain makes up my mind. My feet are wet from thinking this thing over. It's been so long since I felt the warm sunshine. Just give me one good reason. Promise I won't ask you anymore. Just give me one extra season so I I'd like to count on. The last time was the only thing you said. So blue umbrella, rest upon my shoulder. Hide the pain while the rain makes up my mind. My feet are wet from thinking this thing over. It's been so long since I felt the warm sunshine. Just give me one good reason, and I promise I won't ask you anymore. Just give me one extra season, so I can figure out the other four.
This seems like a great place to end this edition of Overtones, episode 47, Tribute to Louisville, Kentucky. And we would like to thank all of our guests, quite literally, Taylor Shuck, and all of you in our audience for making a choice to listen locally today.
You are hearing the sounds of Louisville, Kentucky's Mama Said String Band, which features the great Katie Didit, performing their instrumental original Moon Twins as they do so graciously each and every week to close our show. Until next week, this is Renee Collins,
Whitney Acke,
And Rachel Crowe.
working in concert each and every week to bring you the best this great state of Kentucky has to offer music fans. Reminding you that where words fail, music speaks.
Have a great weekend filled with music, family, friends, and a lot of love.
Listen locally.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.